Hello there my good friends of YouTube. Hope you're all well. Today I'm going to tell you about a few bits and bobs that I've got from the scrapyard from today. Yes, today's Friday. I'm not going on Saturday tomorrow because I want to line, so I'm not getting up early. I'm going to treat myself to a nice line. But anyway, before I tell you about some bits that I got from the scrapyard, I've managed to get my insulator off eBay, which finally came after waiting about 3 weeks for it. Only from America, but certainly took its time. 2 or 3 weeks I've been waiting for it anyway. So, glad I've got it. Cost me 30 UK pounds. It's not as big as the ones that I have on that X-ray transformer, but it's certainly big enough. I do like ceramic insulators. Porcelain, ceramic, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I thought I'd show you that. That's for another project with one of my X-ray transformers. When I ever get another one the same, if not, I'll have to make a single one and have another one as a small standoff of some sort, or insulator, or whatever I can find or use. But yeah, that's that story. So yes, I got a few bits from my scrapyard visit. It was a TIG welder. There was 2 of them. I've brought them both home. I've stripped one of them down, and I've still got another one to do. But I was hurting a little bit with my left ankle because I've got a few problems with my left ankle. I've got a fusion. I'm not going to go into it, but I do suffer with my left ankle. But anyway, I thought I'll leave it for another day. So I'll show you the parts from it. Where should we start? We'll start with the circuit boards first. Let's put the light on, make it a bit brighter. So yeah, there's a nice little spark gap just there. I presume that is to cause some sort of pulse. I'm not really sure how TIG welders work, but all those ceramic capacitors there are all 3 kV, and there's quite a few of these running through the circuit. It took me about half an hour to strip the thing down. It did fail on some point, the reason why they got rid of it, which I shall show you in a minute, but there really is some nice parts on it. I do like that little spark gap. I've got another one of these which is a little bit bigger, and plus I will have another one in the other machine as well. It's got some nice resistors and capacitors and a little Ferrite, sorry, not ferret. Ferrite, that'll be a flyback transformer just there. And so yeah, so that's one of the parts. And there's another part with some nice 330 ohm resistors, some relays, 24 volts DC, and so yeah, some good little parts in them. There's another one. This is the way it's failed. Can you just see that in there? See the runs, the tracks just there. One of them is actually burnt out, so something's caused a short in the system and shorted that out. And this was actually in the belly of the right in the belly of the machine, so it was quite hard to get to. So I'd assume that the engineer or whoever looked at it thought, I can't be bothered with it, and he'd just written it down as scrap. So I'll have a look at the other one when I get time to look at it and see why that one failed. So there's another part of it. Some more ceramic capacitors just there. Some resistors. These are 1k ohm. These Ferrite toroid inductors just here are all covered in some silicon, some sort of silicon, and these are all 3 kV ceramic capacitors as well. There's quite a lot of those. And there's another one. Some more nice components. So I'll strip all these down. I never throw anywhere. These electrolytic capacitors, I do throw a lot of these away because I've got plastic containers like this one down here, which is from bits that I've stripped down from the scrapyard from many visits ago, which I've eventually got round to stripping down. But you know, I'll fill containers up like this, then eventually sort them all out and put them into the containers, like resistors in one, transistors in another, you know, and so on and so on. So yes, I will strip these down and use the parts from them. But I mean, I hardly ever have to buy any components, because I've got so many plastic containers full of what I need. So you know, it's easier and cheaper than, you know, buying stuff off from shops and whatnot. The only thing I really have to buy now and again is the odd transistor if I don't find them. I do find a lot of the IRF 450s, I do find a lot of those, but the higher amperage ones, the 50 amp ones, like the IRF P260Ns, IRF P260Ns, sorry, I do normally have to buy those, but I mean, they're cheap enough now anyway. But yeah, if you know, it's quite it's a lot easier to get stuff like this and strip them down and save the parts, because then eventually you're going to want something and think, oh, I need a 56764/3B, and think, oh, I mean, I got one of those. But yeah, handy components. And there's the other one. So this one's got these replaceable fuses. You just basically just pop them out and put them in a new one. Normally these you find a lot of these in little power supplies, you know, the plastic ones which are sealed, and they've normally got things like this in them, so when they blow you can't open the bloody things and swap them, because they're normally, you know, they're right in at the input of the power supply soldered in, and you wouldn't really think that was a fuse, but it is. If I can get into there you go. Look, 125 milliamps, 250 volts. They're normally 1.5 amps or something like that in some power supplies, or whatever, or higher. What about things like that? You know, them sort of power supplies, inverter style. So yeah, that's those boards. Some nice capacitors, electrolytic capacitors. Siemens, Germany, 1000 microfarads at 20 plus or minus tolerance. You know, it's either plus that that spec, or minus, so it's plus or minus, if you understand. At 385 volts DC, and yeah, like a little bleed resistors on there. Yeah, I got 3 of those. And another cap that was in there as well. 22 microfarads, plus or minus 5%, which is pretty good. 850 volts DC, or 450 volts AC, if I'm reading that correctly. And a few other resistors. These particular ones are on this heatsink. There was 2 of these, but this one had these particular things, which I'll show you in a minute, and another one had a board stuck to it with some other bits and bobs which I've still got to strip down. But yeah, I didn't tell you the values of these, did I? 30 watts to 22 ohm at 1%, plus or minus, that is. That's pretty good. And another one, 270 ohm, and doesn't tell you. I think that's a 10 watt or 5 or 10 watt, I think. So yeah, that's those bits. And the best part, I've got loads for you. This is going to be a long video. This is the heatsink, which is, I've got 2 of these identical. This is a rectifier. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that there's some rectifiers on these boards. There's another little one there. I think there's one on there. Yeah, there's a little rectifier just there, the 4 legs. And there's a couple of rectifiers just there. There's black square ones. So yeah, this is quite a large rectifier. This is a 3-phase. You can use it as a single phase as well, and it's made by Semicron SKD 31/12. I've got quite a few of these rectifiers. I'll have to look at the specs and see how many amps and how many volts it'll take. So yeah, there was that on that there. And these little things, I believe it to be an IGBT of some sort. This is a, see if I can see the other one the same. Yes, it is. This one is better because you can read the writing on it. A C849 STESM 6045 AV. Not bad at all. I've got quite a few of these as well. The trouble is, you see, I have these things and I bloody don't find out to do with them. It drives me nuts. And this is a diode, a BYT30PI800. There was 4 of these, but unfortunately I broke a leg. See, what they did with these is that they put them onto the board, onto the heatsink, like so, and then soldered a big board, circuit board on top, so you couldn't. Was it this one that it was on, or was it this one? It was one of these. I think there might be another board downstairs in the shed. But yeah, there was these particular boards that was stacked up. Let's see this one here. What's that one? So there was like something like that on top, and then there's another one on top, and then there's another one. So you can imagine what it was like taking it all apart. So the last board that was on the heatsink was soldered onto all these legs, and I couldn't get to it. Of course, a machine would have done it, and I couldn't get to it. So I had to get something underneath, a very thin pair of cutters that I had, to cut the legs as long as possible to get the unit off. These were screwed on, of course, and this was these were soldered onto some bum connectors, so it made it easier for those to come off. But yes, unfortunately I broke a leg, but I've got 3 of these, and I've got so many different ones of them sort of diodes anyway. So yeah, that was that. And then there was, you're not going to believe this, 2 of these, okay, a nice big Ferrite, which was, I didn't bring the other one because I just brought one just to show you, but there's one exactly the same windings on the other side, and then this was, of course, was on top, so you can imagine what that was like. Quite easy to come apart. I've not damaged it in any way, only the odd couple of chips on the corner of the Ferrite, but there was some sort of beading on the corners which was glued on, which I just tapped just to get off, but it just took a few little chips off there, but it's not damaged it in any other way. So yeah, that can be, I can use this for a primary because of the windings, which will be pretty cool. And there's 2 of these, so I can even use the plastic housings to do another winding. And this is another Ferrite, which I've cleaned up a little bit. It was caked in this some sort of glue of some sort. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but this had a load of wire wound around it. So another nice piece of Ferrite. I've actually got quite a bloody few Ferrites now. There was one time when I didn't have enough. I'll go to those bits in a minute, chaps. I've got Ferrites coming out of my ears. I've got those 2 there. I had these sent to me by a very good friend of mine, subscriber, and I've got another one which is in the one TIG welder, and I've got another one exactly the same, so I'm going to have 4 of these. They're all cleaned up of course because they're brand new, and I'll have 2 of these and 2 of these, so I'll have 4 of them. I've got 4 of those. I've got another one of course which was from a previous video with a load of wire wrapped around it. I've got a frigging box full of different size ferrites, and at one time I was crying out for stuff like this, and now that I was crying out for it, I find them at the bloody scrapyard, even though a good friend of mine sent me those. So I just don't know what to do. I've got so many different things I can do as projects. It's getting the time off the time, or I'm in bloody pain with my bloody ankle, or I'm busy doing something else, and but it's there. It's there, isn't it? It's there to do projects. I mean, my friend John's coming down over in the new year. High voltage projects. He's coming down in the new year, so hopefully the time he stays down. I think he's staying down for a couple of days. So the time he's staying down, we might hopefully find some good projects to do with these ferrites. So, and plus, guys, I know you're probably still wondering what's happening with the high voltage transformer that I built with the big insulators, of course, with the X-ray transformer in it. Of course, that is still on hold at the minute, but that is still going to be to power up a very large Tesla coil. I mean, the weather at the moment is absolutely crap. It's cold, it's windy. It just isn't the right weather to be working in the shed. And to power something like that up in my house is bad news, because I'll just obliterate everything electrical in the house. No matter if it's turned on, it'll pick up that EMF and bloody electromagnetic wave and just annihilate everything. So that is just a no-no at the minute, so that's on hold. Sorry about that. So yeah, so found a nice little bloody hell, toroid, what's it called? Variac. Went off the top of my head then, that did. Found myself a nice little variac when I was rooting for a big pile of coils and motors and stuff that was buried underneath. It's not like in a traditional variac, it's just got the one winding, and you just basically just feed it through, and yeah, you understand how it works without me going through. But I'll show you the drawing just on the side, and you'll see what I mean. So you just basically just tap into it, and it acts as like a resistor. So nice little variac. It's got a little bit of a damage, which is not a problem, because I can repair that. It's not. I can see the 2 windings there, the 2 wires that are broken. I'm going to solder those and then get some nail varnish on it, some clear nail varnish, and it'll be fine. That there's just a little scrape which I've covered in nail varnish, so clear nail varnish, good thing when you got a wife who likes to do her nails. So yeah, and there's the top to it, and the winding button, and that's the plate that it was on. So yeah, nice thing to find. God, this video's going on for long. Nice pieces of plastic. Can't remember what they call these now off the top of my head. I use those for nice standoffs of some sort. Could even get them on a lathe and put my own ridges in, you know, like off an insulator, just like that. I haven't got a lathe. I would like a lathe, but I know somebody who's got one, so I'll have to ask him nicely. Found some drills, you know, the triggers. These are basically a frequency, like a 5.5 frequency, and there's a motor off this one, and basically you can use this to power all sorts of different things at a tolerated rate. You know, the more you squeeze it, the more voltage gets through, and it's pulse width. So that's a really good one, very good one that is actually. It's quite high amperage and 25 volts. So yeah, I've got a box full of these. Found those though. Some more capacitors. I've got 2 more exactly the same. A little bit of a difference in the tolerance of, you know, the microfarads. But yeah, I got 2 of those. 2 more capacitors that I found. These ones are 275 volts DC at 100 microfarads. Hold on, oh yeah, the different rates with the connections just there, the red and the yellow. So UF for the red, 100 UF for the red, and yellow 200 UF microfarads, and a couple of diodes. They're made by Semicron SKKD 4612. So I've got two more very similar ones as those as well. Oh, bloody hand's dirty from this variac. Top of it's dirty. Better not get it on my bloody Mrs. bed, she'll kill me. So yeah, so quite a good visit today. Some nice bits and bobs. So thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Look after yourselves. Sorry to bloody go on, but I had to get it out and tell you what I've been doing and what I've got. So thanks for watching. Look after yourselves. Speak again.